We wish to introduce the Cscope Pipe and Cable Locator Kit. This is the XD model. The complete kit comprises of the receiver, the transmitter, the direct connect leads to be used with the transmitter, the extra earth cable, the earth stake and the induction clamp. We wish to introduce the receiver. The receiver has three basic switches. You'll have your selector switch, which selects your three modes, two passive modes, with being power mode, radio mode and generator mode, selected by this particular switch. You have a sensitivity control, the on-off switch, and you also have the push button for depth control. The other feature of the receiver is the actual LCD display. On the display you will see the battery indicator, which gives you the battery condition and the particular mode that the instrument is in. In this case the generator mode, 33 kilohertz, secondly the radio mode, and then thirdly the power mode. Right, we have the transmitter here. Firstly we have the control knob which actually turns the unit on and allows you to increase the output power of the generator. We have, next to that is the volume control switch. We have a low volume and a high volume. And thirdly we have a switch for selecting the output mode of the generator. This is the continuous tone. In this particular field there we have the pulsating mode. The receptacle jack there is for hooking up the induction clamp and the direct connect leads. There are three locating modes. The first mode we're going to look at is the power mode, which is one of the passive modes, selectable by the selector switch into the P position. The power modes are used for picking up all energised underground power cables and quite a few other metallic services. The power in particular has to be energised and has to be loaded for this particular function to work. In this vicinity we have an underground cable that is loaded. It is carrying some current from one of these buildings to the next. To locate the positioning of this we introduce the receiver in the passive mode. Power we've already selected. Turning the unit on, we sweep across the vicinity. As you can possibly hear, we have an indication that there is power. Once we find the peak position we would then settle the receiver onto the ground and rotate until we have maximum signal, and at that point we are then in the exactly 90 degrees to the direction of the flow of the cable. By rotating the unit until we get to a null spot and bring it back to there, we are then directly in line with the direction of the cable. The second of the passive modes is the radio mode. This is used in exactly the same fashion as the power mode, except what we're doing, what we're picking up with the radio mode is a radio signal that's regenerated from underground services, particularly longer runs of services in excess of 200 metres, typically Telstra, power and even longer water pipes and gas pipes re-radiate this radio mode. The third of the locating modes is where we introduce the generator. There are three basic modes that we use the generator with. The first being the direct connect mode, where we introduce the direct connect cables plugging into the socket. We then introduce the red cable. We then hook that up to the connector of the particular cable. In this case we have a Telstra cable that is exposed. This could also be utilised on any bare metal cable, on any bare metal pipe, and we hook the active, which is the red wire, to that particular terminal. For direct connection, in this case to an exposed metal pipe, we introduce the red wire. We now introduce the earth stake. The correct position of the earth stake is approximately 90 degrees to the direction of the underground service. First of all we introduce the stake far into the ground as possible to get a good connection. We then introduce the earth point, earth wire, which is the black cable. We now go to the generator, we turn the unit on, and you will hear this continual tone change as we get more and more volume out of the system. To check that you have a good earth, we go to the earth point, disconnect the earth, and we're listening for a total tone change in the generator. As you can hear, there is quite a tone drop, indicating that we have a very successful earth. Now that we've introduced a generator, we need to now switch the receiver to the generator mode. Flicking to the G, And we now go into the same process as we did normally with the last two locating modes, swinging 90 degrees above the surface of the ground in the supposed direction of where the service is. As you can hear, we are getting now quite a large signal. We need to now decrease the sensitivity as the bar graph is going over scale. Once we are able to locate the direct position of the cable, if we need to know direction again, we can rotate around until we get a null position. That indicates then that the cable is in direct line with the receiver. To do a depth measurement, we have to be at 90 degrees where we get maximum signal on the screen, and once we have located that position, we can now do the depth push button. Holding down the button will now give us a depth indication, noting that this indication is to the centre of the service. The second operating mode of the generator is the induction mode. This particular mode is utilised where you do not have any direct connection with the service. You place the generator on the ground above the known position of the service, or the approximate position of the service, turn the unit on to full power. We operate the receiver in the generator mode, and we have to be at least 15 metres away from the position of the generator. As you can see, all operations are as previously shown, including depth measurement. It's a matter of locating the position and going through the same procedure. The third operating mode of the generator is utilising the induction clamp. First of all, we plug the clamp into the generator. We then select the particular pit or underground service that we need to locate, hook the clamp around the particular cable or pipe, making sure that the clamp is properly closed, and also ensuring that both ends of the service are earthed. We now just turn the generator on, listening for a tone change as we increase the volume, and in this particular process also note that it is not necessary to use the earth terminal. As with previous applications, we utilise the generator mode in the receiver, and all other processes are exactly the same as previously shown. The maintenance procedure for the receiver is very simple. Matter of releasing these two grey knobs, lifting the cover to expose the battery holder. In this particular case, we are running on 8 AA alkaline cells. This is the spare receptacle for extra batteries, and it's advisable to always use the alkaline cell. Maintenance on the transmitter is a matter of utilising a coin or a screwdriver to release these two catches, lifting the cover, which exposes 4 of D cells. Again, alkaline cells are used on this particular unit. Instructions for the generator are located inside the lid, and on the receiver they are on the blade. The Cscope Locator Kit is a very effective and easy to use tool for locating all pipes and cables and other metallic underground services.